Well, yeah, and you mentioned the Mike Leach, the Chip Kellys of the world. So I love that kind of passing background here. But of course, in Massachusetts, particularly high school football, right, you're going to have a little bit of that ground game as well. I know that you like to call a lot of plays from the booth, and that seems to be a trend with a lot of offensive coordinators, no matter what level you see at all. So I'm kind of interested from an offensive coordinator's point of view. What are the advantages of calling the play from the booth versus on the ground, and have you done both, and what feels comfortable for you?
Yeah, so it was interesting. My first experience with play calling was at the JV level at this private school, and they play in it was Tabor Academy, and they play in the Independent School League. So
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of a throwback. They produce quite a bit of talent. We played against Zach Zinter from Buckingham Brown and Nichols, who's now like the starting right guard for Michigan, heading to the
Mm-hmm.
college football playoffs. So they've
Right.
got, there's a ton of talent there, but they have some like real throwback rules. So they don't have any booth
Oh, no
access,
kidding, huh?
like
Yep.
no coaching, there's no headsets, it's just very interesting. It's kind of throwback in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no real experience with the booth. Obviously you'd see the cut ups at the end and the game film and kind of pick up on a whole bunch of stuff. And again, those coaches get really good at kind of noticing different things, and again, it's figuring out which players are going to be kind of accurate reporters and tell you what's going on.
Sure.
um, so this year, the first two games of the season, started calling it from the sideline and was just having a hard time picking up on exactly what other defenses were doing. Especially you kind of come in with a sense of, uh, you try to predict what teams are going to do, how they're going to play you. But again, until you can kind of see it and see what they're doing, it's tough to do, and you're relying on an assistant coach in the booth. But again, they aren't seeing it. And again, as a
Mm-hmm.
young offensive coordinator, I think I'm still learning what questions I even want to ask, that exactly what I want to see, because I want to get to
Sure.
the point where I can say, I want to know, what alignment the D line's in, where those overhang players are going, how quickly, where the linebackers are playing off the ball, all those things. But right now I'm still developing that. So we started to have significantly more success kind of once I moved up to the booth, was kind of able to pick up on some of that stuff a little bit quicker. Because again, it's just on the sideline, so much is happening. And then when
Mm-hmm.
you're calling the play in, and we're still, having the quarterback, jog over and take the play from you and all that. So there's definitely a ton of just like small, tweaks you can do. But what I found is just being in the booth is, it's just a lot easier to pick up on those alignments, see how teams are
Mm-hmm.
playing, you see what they're doing, see who's flashing at different levels of the defense, where they're playing you depth wise. And again, the far side of the field it's really hard to tell exactly what they're doing when you're play the field
On
level.
the
So
ground, sure.
yeah, so I again, going back, I think the guys that are able to call it from the field, they're relying on kind of like assistant coaches that they've had in their system for so long, that they've coached them up to the point where they can very quickly and concisely, relay what the defense is doing. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that that's kind of the next levels where I can get a young coach that sees the game exactly as I see it and kind of knows what I'm looking for.